Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Zelda Okia. I am a life and a weight loss coach, and I'm a forensic pathologist. And in this video, I wanted to continue on with this theme of sugars and artificial sweeteners, and how we can create sweetness in our own lives. So to begin with, I would like to present today the artificial sweetener aspartame. So aspartame was developed in 1965, and it contains 40% aspartic acid, 50% phenylalanine, and 10% methanol. So those of you may or may not know, phenylalanine in high concentrations can be toxic. And there's also a subset of our population that have phenylketonuria, PKU, who cannot, their bodies cannot metabolize phenylalanine. Phenylalanine is an amino acid. So people that have this PKU cannot ingest this sweetener at all. And aspartame is in a NutraSweet, and it's also in Equal. And then the methanol is actually a wood alcohol. So some of you may or may not be familiar, but methanol also in high concentrations. Now, it's only in 10% of this, of the aspartame, but in high concentrations. So we probably all know people that overdo it with these artificial sweeteners, because aspartame is 200 times sweeter than table sugar. So even though it is so sweet, it is still addictive. And really, because it's so sweet, we don't need to ingest that much. But, you know, it is important to be aware of these ingredients, particularly if you have phenylketonuria. You have to avoid it altogether. It has 0 calories, so it does not raise your glucose. It doesn't raise glucose in the blood. It does have an aftertaste, and it's not recommended for cooking. It does break down. Some people do complain of dizziness, headaches, and blurred vision. Now, those of you who know about methanol, it's a wood alcohol. People that brew their own alcohol, or sometimes alcoholics that are just trying to get their alcohol fix, they can get into methanol toxicity, and blindness is one of the risk factors. So really, if you're going to take these artificial sweeteners, moderation, very little amounts, because in high levels it can be toxic. Now on to the sweeter part of this talk, which is how to create our own sweetness in our lives. Because many times what we're really looking for in these artificial sweeteners and sugars is an experience. You know, we want to feel our feelings. We want to feel alive. And we can create that. We have everything that we need to create that feeling of aliveness, to feel our feelings. And one of the ways is just moving. Just moving our bodies. What I've started doing every morning, and not even maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, I just move. You might ask your body, how do you want to move today? But it can be slow movement. It can be rhythmic. You can play music. I actually have my own internal music. So sometimes my body just wants to move and dance, and I can just have the tune going in my own head. So it's basically up to you how you want to move. And I also get on the floor. I can roll around on the floor, and I start to laugh. I mean, sometimes it's just fun. And the other thing that I notice is I do this before I journal, and my head seems clearer. I get more focus. Ideas start coming to me. So our bodies want to move. And if those of you that have toddlers, little babies, you know how much they love moving and running and just feeling all the feels and experiencing all of life. And that's how we should be. and sometimes just moving our bodies just a little bit, from side to side, swaying our hips. Sometimes I lift my arms up over my head, taking deep breaths. Even that alone can make us feel so good. So I would encourage that movement for you, especially if you're someone that doesn't really know how you're feeling sometimes. Just move your body and ask your body, how are you feeling? You might feel a knot up in here, and then you want to work that area. That's what our bodies are meant for. Our bodies are meant to move. And when we move our bodies, they reward us with good feelings. I've got an article that I found, which you might like. So I know you can't read this, but it's called A Dance Intervention for Cancer Survivors and Their Partners. And it's actually, the study was called Rhythm, right? And Rhythm stood for Restoring Health in You and Your Partner, in quotes, through movement. And in this study, so it was a randomized controlled trial. There was 2 arms, so one intervention group, one controlled group had delayed intervention. And the intervention was 10 private weekly dance lessons and 2 practice parties, so a total of 12 weeks. And they wanted to look at physical activity in these cancer survivors. So physical activity, functional capacity, so how well were they able to complete a 6-minute walk, and also quality of life measures and a trust scale between the cancer survivor and their partner. And what was so beautiful about this study is that they included the partner. Because for those of you that might be a spouse to someone that has cancer, or know someone that had cancer, my mother had breast cancer, and many times you just feel powerless. You just want to help. You said maybe you'll just drive them to their treatments, but when they're really suffering and going through and feeling horrible, because of the cancer or because of the treatment, you just don't know how to help. So in this study, they incorporated the spouses. And what they found, it was so beautiful. So there were 31 women survivors in the study, 68% that had breast cancer. And the survivors were about 58 years old. So in the middle age of the spectrum, we'll say. 22.6% were African American. So it was a pretty balanced study. And they found that there was a significant positive impact in physical activity, the mental component of quality of life, vitality, and this trust scale, and couples. So now they interviewed the couples afterwards. The couples expressed satisfaction with the intervention, including appreciating the opportunity to spend time together, exercise together, work towards a common goal, and laugh together. Laugh together, y'all. How sweet is that? You guys, I'm a life and a weight loss coach. And as with the methanol, sometimes those alcoholics, they want that feeling. They want that dopamine hit. Guys, we can create that for ourselves. We don't have to go outside of our bodies to look for it. So if you need help finding that sweetness, or if you want to dance and enroll in a study, I wanted to say to those of you that have toddlers, get down on the floor with them. Oh, toddlers love it when you get down to their level and then they can crawl all over you and wrestle together. How sweet is that, people? How sweet is that? And then shared movement. It doesn't necessarily have to be ballroom dancing. It's just mimicking each other's movements, but it creates that connection. And it's just innate. It's organic. So again, I'm Dr. Zelda Okia. I am a life and a weight loss coach. And hey, send me a message. What do you think about this video and about moving and bringing that sweetness back into your life? So you can message me. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and my website is www.zeldaokia.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.